Okay, so again, hello everyone, good morning. My name is Jocelyn and I'm a neuroscience major here at UCR. Excuse me. And so the name of my project is called An Appetite for Social Media, the Circulation of Food on Multimedia Platforms. And my faculty mentor, his name is Dr. Richard Rodriguez. And so just a little introduction for my abstract I'm going to go ahead and start with is social media has taken the world by storm. Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Yelp, etc. all have an influence on people's perception, especially regarding food. So my research project evaluates the significant role social media has and questions what attracts individuals to certain foods over others. And taking the University of California, Riverside student body as my informants, I conducted a sample research study in which surveys were used. And then my question was, how does social media play a role in what individuals choose to eat and what specifically attracts them to certain foods over others? And so for my methods, I included surveys and I distributed them from word of mouth, Instagram, Discord, and my respondents were the only criteria for my respondents were that they had to be any currently attending student at UCR, and there was no personal information collected from them, so it was completely anonymous. And for how I formatted my surveys, I included 10 photos with 2 questions each. And these 2 questions were describe what caught your attention from the image slash video and what was, excuse me, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being extremely unlikely and 10 being extremely likely, how likely would you want to try the following? And so for my first one, I had a video of Korean barbecue being cooked. And for this one, so for all my pictures, I have a table on the right that show what words were mostly used in my survey responses when they were answering the question of what uh, caught their attention. So for this particular image, the words that were most commonly used were words describing the ingredients of the food, so meat, beef, corn, and then I noticed that the second section seemed to be describing how they felt about it and things surrounding the meat that they noticed. And then for my ratings, it had a pretty high mean of 7.12 of how likely they wanted to try it. And then for my second image, I had mini pancakes and strawberries. This one, again, people were describing the actual ingredients of the food, but also they were describing the how it made them feel as well. And then this one had a much higher mean in comparison to the Korean barbecue image. It had a mean of 7.4 overall of how likely people were willing to try it. And then for my next one, I had an image of this pineapple garlic shrimp with macaroni salad and rice. And for this one, again, people were describing the ingredients of the food, but what particularly was very interesting was that the second most common words that people used to describe what caught their attention was the actual bowl used and the uniqueness of using a pineapple as the bowl. And then for this one, it had a little bit of a lower mean overall of 6.00. And then for this one, we have here some lobster noodles. This one, again, people were describing the ingredients for the most commonly used words. And then secondly, they were describing texture. And then this one had a much lower mean in comparison. It had a mean of 5.66 of how willing people were willing to try it. And then for this one, we have agua frescas that were put in a container that looks to be like a baby bottle. And interestingly, compared to my other images for the mostly used words were the container. And second, people were describing the, you can't see it in this photo, but there's actually a little ice cube that's put inside of the baby bottle, and it lights up and it flickers. So people were using that to describe it. And then thirdly, the presentation and the perspective. And for this one, the mean was a little bit on the lower end as well, of 6.46 of how willing people wanted to try it. Okay, and then for this one, we have an image of some birria tacos. And for this one, people were describing the environment a bit more for the mostly used words, such as heat, grill, um, the sauce, and all that sort of thing. And then for the second most common were the colors and the overall brightness of the video. And for this one, the mean was fairly high with the 7.34. And for this one, I have a picture of some Taiwanese hot pot, and similar to other images, the most commonly used words were the ingredients of the food, but also the following most commonly used words paid attention a lot to the environment and the way they were displayed, such as the individual pots and the use of the music and the way the restaurant captured the food. And then for this one, it had a fairly high mean as well of 7.07. And then for this one, I have a picture of some brown sugar honey boba soft serve. And for this one, the most commonly used words again were the ingredients of the ice cream itself that caught their attention, but also for the second most common words they used were the video itself and the other surrounding features. And this one had one of the more high means overall with an 8.02. And then for this one, I have a picture of some pork soup dumplings. And for this one, the top was also the ingredients of the food as well. But secondly, this one paid more attention to, people paid more attention to the texture and the, someone said juiciness and the cinematography of the video. And this one had a much higher mean compared to my other images of 8.44. And then last but not least, I had a picture of a sushi platter. And for this one, the top most used words were the ingredients, but also people paid a lot of attention to the presentation, how it was displayed, the colors, the different fish. And then this one had a mean on the lower end of 6.78. And so for my surveys, I received a total of 41 respondents. And some observations I made after collecting my data is that the ingredients of the food were the first thing that most people observed, except for the drink image in which the baby bottle was used. So I found that very interesting. But overall, people mostly described that the food was the first thing that caught their attention, and then the environment. And then another observation I made was that captions and comments may make people more inclined to try things. For example, someone had said that the caption offers a deal if you come in to try their food on the lobster noodle image. And then so overall, from least to greatest mean, I found that the lobster noodles came first, the pineapple rice came second, then the baby bottle, and then the sushi platter, and then the hot pot. And next, the Korean barbecue, the birria tacos, the pancakes, the soft serve, and the dumplings. And then from that, I found that the sweeter foods seem to have a higher attraction level for respondents. Someone had said, for the boba soft serve, I would try this food because the texture and overall components are something I am familiar with. And then someone else had said, the colors on the dessert are very bright. It looks yummy, and the tiny pancakes look so cute. So the entire dish is pleasing to look at, and that is in regards to the mini pancakes. And then based on the least to greatest mean as well, it seems that the seafood options also had the lowest attraction level for respondents. Someone had said for the lobster noodle, looks expensive, not gonna lie. And then someone else had said, not a fan of lobster. Someone else had said for the sushi platter, raw fish, it's a no for me. And then for the pineapple garlic shrimp rice, someone said, I'm not a fan of shrimp and the dish looks a little too oily. And so, in conclusion, individuals seem to be influenced by, uh, I do believe individuals seem to be influenced by what they see on social media and their willingness to try food. Presentation does seem to play an important role. A lot of people mention the use of colorfulness in the images, the camera work, the cinematography, and making the food item look unique. So for example, the baby bottle container for the agua frescas, and then the use of a pineapple as the bowl. But overall, it does also seem that past personal experiences and dietary preferences also affect people's willingness to try food. And then some things I wish I could have improved on with this study is having a bigger sample size and including more food items. And as for future experiments, I think it'd be very interesting to see how race could maybe play a role in what people are willing to try, as well as if they have any dietary restrictions. So focusing maybe on people that do keto, vegan, vegetarian, all pescatarian. And then additionally, if location may play a role where some people are from, maybe they're from a more melting pot hometown, so maybe they're more welcoming to trying new things. And then that's it. Excuse me. Thank you.